Hey friend, it's Robin May, life coach and licensed therapist. If this is your first time here at the channel, I am so glad you are here. Here on my channel, I am committed to helping women just like you elevate not just what you do, but elevate who you are. Listen, what you do is critically important. What you do for your career, what you do in your everyday life, it is really important. I believe in us walking in purpose and destiny. But I want to help you elevate not just what you do, but who you are, how you show up, how you respond, your understanding about yourself. So, again, I'm so happy you are here. If you are a returning friend, you already know how we do. Let our new friends know how we rock. You need to go ahead and get you a journal, put on some fuzzy socks, get you something good to drink, get ready to take some notes. It is my goal that you have at least one aha during our time together. If you do, this is what you're committing to, that you would subscribe to the channel, you will leave a comment, and you will share this video. I have something that I really need to share with you all. Now, again, if this is your first time here, you may not know when you are of a certain age. Hello. When you're of a certain age, you got to have some notes in front of you because if I'm not careful, sis will be all over the place and chasing butterflies. And so I have these notes in front of me because I really do have something very important to share. Last week on Instagram, that's my social media of choice. Last week on Instagram, I shared what I was calling three hard truths. It's hard to say that word. Three hard truths, pretty much three powerful principles that I believe are critically important for who we are as women. Now, there are plenty of principles, plenty of ideas, plenty of things that I believe all of us need to know. But these principles really do guide the work I do as a licensed therapist. It guides how I show up in my everyday life. It fuels and informs wisdom that I give to anyone. And so I shared those principles on Instagram. And so I wanted to bring them all right here for you on YouTube. Now, before I dive into these principles, there are two more things I want you to know. Number one, I combined all of these principles into a PDF so that you could easily digest it with conversation prompts that you can use just for your own journal or with friends. And so, right here in the description of this video, you will see the link to access that PDF. Okay. And so, I want you to do that. And then, all of you are getting a sneak peek. Y'all are the first to hear about this. I have these notes on my phone, but this there's an app that keeps coming up that keeps distracted me. Let me pull it up in another form because maybe this will help. Okay. Y'all are the first to hear this. I am super excited. Now, if you've never met me before, let me tell you a little bit about myself so that you can know I'm excited. Not only am I a licensed therapist, not only am I an executive coach, my husband and I lead a church. I've been married for 20 plus years, but I am also the mom to three daughters. And I absolutely love being a girl mom. And I have never created a product for moms and daughters, but now I have. I am super excited. I'm a little bit nervous because it's my first time doing it. Is these principles I have created a workbook for moms and daughters to navigate together. It will be released in a few days. And so stay tuned. I just can't wait. So if you download the PDF, the free PDF that I have for these three principles, you will be the first to find out about the workbook being available. Okay, so let's dive in because I want to respect our time. Okay, here are the three principles, and I'm going to give you each principle, then we'll come back and discuss it. Okay. Okay, so you're going to hear me interchanging the word hard truth or powerful principle. I think it may be easier for some of us to digest it from the standpoint of a powerful principle. So sometimes I will say that, okay? But here's the first one. Now, listen, as I give these to you, I want you to pretend I'm there holding your hand. We're taking a deep breath, and I want you to really hear it, but I want you to pay attention if something comes up for you as I say it. So here is number one. It may have happened to you, but more than likely, it wasn't about you. Now, I am telling you these principles that I share with clients, these principles I share with really good friends and with people who I'm doing life with. People get pushback because these are hard to hear, but if you sit with it, you'll see the truth in it. So, again, it may have happened to you, but it's probably not about you. And I'm even adding the probably just to soften it up a little bit because it's hard to hear. Because what comes up is, I don't care, Robin. It happened to me. It's about me. I feel it. We could add anything into it. Let's say you've suffered or you've been in a relationship or marriage and you've dealt with infidelity. It happened to you, but it wasn't about you. Let's say you had um, abandonment as a child. Maybe a parent didn't raise you. It happened to you, but it wasn't about you. In other words, so many times when things happen in our life, when someone disappoints us, when someone rejects us, when we are disappointed, when something happens at the job, we internalize it so much that we begin to think that there is a flaw with us, that there is something wrong with us, that there is a brokenness with us, that we are jacked up. We internalize it and make it a reflection of our worth instead of understanding that no, if someone was unfaithful to you, that was about them. It doesn't mean that the two of you, did not contribute to the chaos that happened in the marriage, but that person's choice was about them. That was their insecurity. That was their lack of integrity. That was their response. It wasn't a reflection of your worth. And when we use someone else's behavior as a mirror to who we are as a person, who we are as our worth, we will live on a emotional roller coaster because we cannot control the behavior and actions of others. It may have happened to you, but it wasn't about you. People show up based on their wounds. Now, their wounds are not a reflection of your worth. Their wounds do hurt you, but it's not a reflection of your worth. And sometimes even the people closest to us deal with us from their unhealed places. And so if you live your life believing that their behavior is a reflection of your value, you will find yourself always burdened down. This is a truth that I have to wrestle with. Friendship is a high value for me. I say that like, y'all are like, nah, Robert, I didn't know that. Well, friendship is a very high value for me. And many times, if there is a breach in a friendship, my automatic response, because here's the deal, I want to get A's in everything I do. See, my clients never asked me what was my GPA when I graduated from my university with my master's. My clients have never asked me what was my GPA, but I try somehow to slip it into the conversation. Your girl had a 4.0 in her master's program. Nobody has ever asked. See, I want to get straight A's, right? I want to be the star student. Call on me. Let me be the one. Yes, I did it right. I did it correctly. And so, in a friendship, when there is a breach in the friendship, I am automatically trying to figure out, what did I do? What did I mess up? Let me jump through the hoops. Let me figure out how I can make it okay. Let me make it work. Let me make it better. And there might, hear me, there might be a point where I did disappoint a friend, or it could be that I did offend them, or I did frustrate them. But if someone decides to cut me off from a friendship without any conversation, without any real dialogue, without giving me a chance to express myself, that's not a reflection of me. That's not a reflection of my worth. And is it painful? Yes. Did it happen to me? Yes. But it's not about me. It's about how they choose to handle conflict. It's about how they choose to process what goes on. You understand the difference? So I want you to sit with that truth. It may have happened to you, but it's not about you. Now, with that in mind, as I am saying that, I want you to sit with what might be coming up for you, right? So even if you're like, Robin, I just don't understand it, I feel like that is dismissing my pain. Let me tell you right now, that truth, it may have happened to you, but it's not about you, does not mean that it doesn't hurt. But what it does mean, this is what all of these principles are doing. I want you to deal with the pain of what happened, not the story you're attaching to it. Does that make sense? So if someone rejected me as a friend, decide they don't want to be my friend anymore, like I'm 5, you don't want to be my friend no more, but they decide to cut me off, I got to deal with the pain of that. Instead of adding to that pain, you know what? I'm just jacked up. It's something wrong with me. Somebody was unfaithful to you. That is painful enough. Instead of adding to that, instead of saying they were unfaithful and that is because I'm not gorgeous enough, or I'm not, um, I wasn't available enough, or I wasn't communicating well. No, their decision is not a reflection of your worth. So here are a couple of reflection questions I want you to sit with. One is, what pain have you been carrying that you assumed was a reflection of you? Yeah, this could transform your life. Another question, where have you been blaming yourself for someone else's decision? I want you to sit with that again. You do not heal by taking responsibility for someone else's behavior. You will heal when you can release what was never yours to carry in the first place. I spent some time with that one. Let's go on to hard truth number two, or powerful principle number two. Hey Fred, I wanted to jump in real quick on this video because I want to make sure you know about Elevate Your Life in 30 Days. Elevate Your Life is an audio-based experience where for 30 days I share with you a principle in just 5 minutes. Listen, we are busy, we're juggling a lot, and we know that we should be paying attention to our souls, giving ourselves times for reflection, but sometimes it's hard to do that. And so I took away all the excuses. Every day for 30 days, you'll get a 5 minute audio, and you can listen to that on your way to work, while you're cooking dinner, maybe while your child is at basketball, gymnastics, or volleyball practice. And you have access so that you can go back and listen to a day that might have really stood out to you. Make sure you go to robinmayonline.com/30 days so that you can check it out. All right, let's get back to the rest of the principles. They may not come back. Let me tell you what I mean. Many times I find that so many of us are emotionally stuck because something happened, and consciously or subconsciously, we are waiting for that person who hurt us, that person that disappointed us, that person that rejected us, that person that lied on us, that person that took advantage of us. We're waiting on that person to come back and make it right, that person to come back and apologize, that person to come back and acknowledge. We tell ourselves, I need closure. Closure is the trick that keeps you stuck, right? I just need closure. And let me say this, our brains are wired to want conclusion, our brains are wired to want understanding. So I'm teasing you when I say closure is the trick that keeps you stuck. It is, but it is absolutely human of you to want an understanding. But many times we're waiting for that person who has hurt us to make it right. And I want you to understand that person may never come back. The person who hurt you, the person who created the wound, they did it. I am validating that for you. It was them. They tripped out. They wilded out. It was their fault. All of that. But they may not have the desire nor the capacity to come back, or either or. They may have the desire, they don't know how. They may have the capacity, they just don't want to. Or they may not know how and they don't even want to come back and make it right. Come back and take responsibility. And here's the truth, you may never get the apology you deserve, but healing does not have to be outside of your reach. You can still heal even if they never take responsibility. And if you are holding your healing hostage to their ownership, you may stay in that prison way longer than it was ever meant for your journey. I want you to understand they may never come back, and you may be holding off your healing. So, again, let's use the parent. You have a parent that hurt you and disappointed you and did not treat you well or didn't respond well to you, and you are waiting for them to acknowledge it. What if they never acknowledge it? You are waiting for that relationship, that person who walked away from you and never gave you an explanation or understanding. What if they never do? You are waiting for that coworker to come back and own up to the fact that they lied on you. What if they never do? And even if you're not consciously holding on to it, you are allowing the impact of that to change how you show up in a new situation. And so now you are blaming them for them, and that's not even fair. And so I want you to understand that they were wrong. They did it. They may never come back. And sometimes the healing and the closure you need very well could come from therapy. The healing and the closure you need could come from a healthy relationship from somebody else, somebody giving you a perspective that you may have never even thought about. And so the person may never come back, but healing is still available for you. With that, I want to give you a couple of reflection prompts. You can just journal these to process it. And remember, these are also questions that you could use in a conversation with your friends. You all can watch this video and you all can use this as jumpstart conversations. Where have you been waiting for someone to come back and make it right? I want you to really slow down and ask yourself that. Where have I been waiting for somebody to come back and make it right? And then here's another question. What part of your healing have you delayed because you're waiting for somebody to take responsibility? I actually have one more question for you. What about this? What would moving forward without their acknowledgement look like for you? Sis, you deserve to heal even if they never apologize. Well, here is the last truth. Now, this is the one that makes me nervous because I know y'all, yeah, folks don't like this one. Folks don't like this one, and I understand why, because it can feel very dismissive. But remember, I'm over here helping you elevate not just what you do, but who you are. So here we go. Y'all ready? Your pain is real, but you're not the only one. Ah, your pain is real, but you're not the only one who has experienced that pain. Now, I know, sis, before you shut down, I know what was coming up. Robin, I don't care about them or them or them. That's them. This is still hard for me. And you're right. You're right. Hear me. You're right. Because, baby, I need people to validate what I'm going through. Don't minimize my go through, baby. One thing I don't want you to do, don't minimize my go through. That is not what this is. Listen to me. Your pain is real, but you're not alone and you're not the only one going through this. Okay. So, one of the things that happens all the time for me as a therapist is that somebody will sit on my virtual couch and they will say, now, Robin, I know you ain't never heard nothing like this before. Or, Robin, I know this is the hardest case you've ever dealt with. Baby, my couples would be like, I know you ain't dealt with a couple that's as hard as us. And I always have to tell them, no, but ain't nothing new under the Bible tells us, ain't nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes says there's nothing new under the sun. And actually, one of my favorite scriptures is First Peter chapter 5, I think it's verse 9. And it says, believers all over the world are going through the same trials that you are. So when people say that to me, I understand what's happening. This is very heavy for them, and they just want to be validated in how hard it is. And baby, I'm going to validate, honey, this is hard. Go get in the bed, get you some Pillsbury chocolate chip cookies, take a deep breath, sis. This is hard. But when you convince yourself that you're the only one who's gone through something like this, what it really does, it causes you to isolate and it increases shame where there is no need to be shamed at all. See, when you convince yourself that you are the only one, you convince yourself that nobody else understands, and that makes the pain sharper, it makes the pain heavier. Let's say the pain weighs 50 pounds. When you add that you're the only one who's ever dealt with this, now that 50 pounds is 100 pounds. Because why do I have to deal with this? Why would this be my story? You may still ask that question, but it may help to understand believers all over the world are going through the same trials that you are, right? It may help to know that there is nothing new under the sun. Listen, your situation ain't for the faint at heart. I'm going to keep validating that. But I want to normalize human struggling for you. I want to normalize that while your best friend ain't never dealt with it, call me, says I can tell you, I can give you another friend who has. Quite frankly, that will help. When you can connect, I really can't give you nobody else because you know I got to maintain confidentiality, baby. One thing I do is keep secrets. But in all seriousness, when you can be around, why do you think that there are AA and Gamblers Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous? Why do you think that there is Alcohol Anonymous for families? Why do you think all of that exists? Why do people do groups like that? Because it helps to be around people who have dealt with some of the same things. And so if you believe your family dysfunction is the only family dysfunction like this, that's simply not true. When you believe nobody else's child has dealt with anything like this, that's simply not true. If you believe that nobody's marriage has ever dealt, it's simply not true. There are resources. I've even heard people say, "Ain't no book on that," and I'll say, "Baby, yes, it is. Yes, it is. I can give you several books." Somebody told me recently, "There is no book on parenting girls." What? Yes, it is. There are a whole lot of books on parenting girls, right? And so, again, what's happening is our pain can cause us to be so narrow minded and so focused on us. Because, honey, when I'm going through, it's about, just know it's about me. So, it can cause us to be so focused on ourselves that we don't understand that we are isolating ourselves, we are increasing the shame, and we are making it harder, even harder than it already is. All right. So, what are the reflection prompts? What I want you to think about is, where have you convinced yourself that you're the only one struggling with this, whatever this is? Now, again, this might not be something you need to put on Facebook. Whatever your this, because it may not be your circle that has dealt with this, but you want to understand, where am I convincing myself that I'm the only one? What shame have you carried because you thought your situation was unique? You know, I talk about sharing my crazy so you don't have to share yours, but I have a situation in my own life that feels very much like, why am I dealing with this right now at 51? Why am I dealing with this? And if I'm not careful, I will convince myself that other 51-year-old women are not dealing with this. And I know cognitively that's simply not true. So although it feels like it, reminding myself, no, Robin, there is answers to this, really does help. All right, y'all. I hope those three powerful principles are eye-opening to you. I hope those prompts help you unpack that a little further. Did I give you the all the prompts for the third one? Let me give you one more prompt for the third one. Um, how would your healing shift if you realize your pain is real, but it is not evidence that there is something wrong with you? All right. So I want you to take these three principles. I want you to use the PDF that I have provided, is right in the description, to slow your life down, to pause and pay attention to what is working and what isn't working in your life. Now, if you want to take this a bit further, I invite you to invest in Elevate Your Life in 30 days. This is an audio based experience where every single day for 30 days, I give you a 5-minute inspiration, something to make you think, something to make you pause, something to help you elevate not just what you do, but who you are. I want you to click the link below to invest so that you can start this year. You can start it today, it'll take you into the new year. It's a great way to slow down, even though it's just 5 minutes, and prioritize you. You deserve it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your community, and I am committed to helping you, say it with me, elevate not just what you do, but who you are. I'll see you next time.